Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to talk about a tragic event that happened in San Bernardino. The Pimp Player Hustler Gangster Crips, also known as the Pimp Player Hustlers, or the PPAGs, are from the east side of San Bernardino. They originated in the 80s and became a well-known gang over the years in San Bernardino. With San Bernardino being about an hour away from LA, San Bernardino youths adopted the Crip and Blood identities that eventually came many gangs like California Garden Crips, Delman Heights Bloods, Five-Time Hometown Gangster Crips, and the Gilbert Street Bloods, just to name a few. With the IE cities like San Bernardino starting to grow in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, a lot of people from LA will start to move to these cities in the IE, where they will find affordable housing and they thought safer communities. But this will be completely not true, with cities like San Bernardino being one of the most dangerous cities in California and across the whole nation, but somehow always got overlooked by LA. With many LA residents moving to San Bernardino, this helped create more violence, with a lot of LA gang members trying to set up shop in many San Bernardino hoods, which will lead to many eventual clashes. Now the Rollin 60 neighborhood Crips from South Central LA will be a gang trying to set up shop in San Bernardino and sell work in the city in the early 2000s. The Rollin 60s have a long history dating back to the 1970s, where they became a powerful and deadly gang, and probably one of the most known Crip gangs across the country, with the Rollin 60s having chapters all over the country and being known for being big time hustlers and also killers. Many members will be in San Bernardino hustling, and this led to them getting into an altercation with the Pimp Player Hustler Crips, and one of the Pimp Player Hustler Crips will lose his life from this event. A few days later, the Pimp Player Hustler Crips will be out for revenge. November 13th, 2005, the Pimp Player Hustler Crips will get word, and from what they believe, the Rollin 60 Crips were in Cedarwood apartments in San Bernardino. This led to members of the Pimp Player Hustler Crips marching up to Cedarwood apartments and going to apartment 22, where they believe Rollin 60 Crips were in. They began shooting up the apartment. 11-year-old Mynisha Crenshaw sat at the table with her family as they ate dinner in their home, when the Crenshaw family was interrupted by a hail of gunfire, and shots began flying through their door, and Mynisha was shot 4 times, suffering a fatal shot to the chest, causing her to bleed out. Mynisha's death outraged the public and sent city leaders scrambling for solutions to the city's growing crime epidemic. At the time, the city was ranked amongst the 20 most dangerous cities in the United States. The community's response did help with the investigation. There was a vigil, and there was a march in her honor for justice. A lot of people was coming forth for information to help get it solved, but it was a lot of fear out there, especially with their back and forth shooting of rival gangs. 3 Pimp Player Hustler Crips were later arrested: City, Harold, and Alonzo. Alonzo later agreed to cooperate on Harold and City for a lesser sentence. Mynisha's family would be there for an entire trial. When the judge gave City the opportunity to speak, City rose and turned to address Mynisha's family and said, "I want to tell Mynisha's family I'm sorry for their loss." He said that and sat back down. Harold, who was also sentenced for his role in the slaying, declined to speak. Harold received 94 years and 4 months to life in prison after being convicted of 4 charges. City, who prosecutors said planned the shooting, received 109 years to life for 5 charges. After the sentencing, Mynisha's sister and her mother rose to address the court. Her sister said a soft thanks to everybody for the outcome of the case, and they quickly took their seats again. Mynisha's family looked somber, staring straight ahead, but after the sentence they broke unexpressive stares with satisfaction. Members of the convicted man's family couldn't hide their sorrow during the sentencing. Almost all had tears streaming down their faces, and one had to be escorted out. Mynisha lost her life to a senseless crime that took her life at the young age of only 11. R.I.P. to her. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.